Good evening. This is a video where I'm going to demonstrate, I guess, the latest features of iteration armies. I've been away for around 2 years because this is a home project and we all have lives and we want to have fun as well, because I'm a developer, software developer by trade as well, and sometimes you don't want to be coding at work and then go home and do more coding. So I just took a break for a year or two. Anyway, I'm back and I have some newfound enthusiasm for the project. Now, you can't just dive into a project like Ancient Armies and start developing the really hard stuff straight away, simply because it takes a long time just to get a feel for the code, even though I wrote it. So what I decided to do is just tinker some of the systems that are already there and add a whole new system, and that whole new system is sound. Ancient Armies now has sound. Now, all of the sound you're going to hear are placeholders. The music's placeholders, even though it's Bach, and I love Bach, but I doubt that for copyright reasons I'd ever be allowed to distribute that with the game. So I'm going to probably have to compose my own, and it won't be anywhere near as good as his. And also the unit sounds as well. They're very basic. They're again placeholders. The idea being, once the game's further down the line and I know precisely what sounds I need, at that point I'll do the proper recordings. But there's enough there for me to be able to demonstrate stuff. So anyway, let's run it up and we'll show you what's changed. So we'll pick a scenario. The scenario picker is pretty much the same as it's always been. And then on to the next screen, you pick full command and control and so forth. Here we're going to actually leave it on full command and control. My intent is to revamp this screen, and the reason why is that there are certain settings that I think are mutually exclusive, and because of that we can probably simplify this, and I'm always one for simplifying my user interfaces. So anyway, we'll go with that. So we're going to play as green with full command and control. So this is a brand new screen. It's a fairly embryonic one, completely functional at the moment. Now, with the original Ancient Armies, when you played at its highest level of, I guess, command and control, you were always the leader. You were always the CNC. That's no longer the case. I've now updated the code so that the player can be anyone on the battlefield. So you can be one of the lowly infantry units. You can play, in this case, as a leader of the infantry unit, so you're in charge of that whole wing, or play as a CNC and be in charge of the whole shebang, as it were. So it gives you the option to pick at what level of command you want to command your army at. And I do have command and control code in place to help present some of the difficulties of playing at the various levels. So that's pretty good. Also, the line of sight routines are being updated so that line of sight is now no longer from the CNC. It'll be from whoever you've picked as the unit you're going to be in, as it were. So I guess for this down, we're going to go for infantry 3, just some random infantry unit, and we're going to stick ourselves in that. So it's worth bearing in mind. When I hit play, the first difference you're going to hear, and I say hear rather than show or see, is you're going to hear some Bach, the Brandenburg concertos, and that's Ancient Armies playing that with its Euterpe media system. So let's go for that. So that's the briefing for green team. So there you go, you can hear the music straight away. It's in quite high quality stereo, and you have the option via the option screen to turn off sound if you don't want it, or stick it back on again and so forth. So it's quite flexible. But in addition to the music, the system also supports real 3D sound for your units. And those unit sounds are actually played as if you were there on the battlefield. So you hear everything in relation to your position on the battlefield. And I'll show you that in a second. But before I go there, I just want to show you some other enhancements. Now, one of the things that always got me about Ancient Armies is, yes, the map is awesome insofar as you can zoom in as close as you want, zoom out as far as you want. The big problem is that at most normal zooms where you're looking at your entire army, it's very difficult to tell who is who, even though it does give you unit information bottom left. So I've added a new graphic to the top right, and what that does is it shows you a close-up of the unit your mouse cursor is hovering over. So if you look there, so you can see, and it auto scales it as well. So if you've got a very small unit like this CNC, it will auto scale it to fit the space up there. Now the white lines you see there are the map grid, and that's a bug with the map grid, and that will be fixed. So yeah, it auto scales it to fit the size that I've designated for that unit display, and I think it's a great way to instantly see what your units you're playing with without necessarily having to zoom all the way in, so it's a bit of a time saver. Other enhancements, as most of you know if you've seen the previous videos, Ancient Armies has always had the ability to switch to 3D view like that, but this 3D view is actually being enhanced in a subtle way, and it's a way that I suspect most users won't notice, but I think they would have noticed the older way, because the older way had some pretty poor things that it did. And basically the big change is that when you're focused on a particular unit, I don't know, say Infantry 3, which is where we are, if you go to 3D view, the code is now updated in such a way that it keeps your selected view in view. With the old system, you used to go to 3D view and the thing you were looking at would just disappear off the screen, and then you're kind of rooting around at a low zoom setting trying to find what you're looking at. And that works wherever you're looking. So if I look at, I don't know, one of the orange units there, and we go to 3D view, the camera is now designed to stay exactly where it is. That means you can switch between the two and not really care. It will always keep you where you're looking at. And again, it's a UI design thing, in that the problem with UIs is if they're coded well, people don't notice and they never mention it. But if they're coded badly, that's normally when you get all the complaints. So that's one enhancement. That was a bit of a pain to put in. But the other enhancement, and I think this is a pretty important one for Ancient Armies, is many battles you'll have the choice to play either side, either the green or orange. Now, if I was playing green, which we are now, that's great, because I'm sat behind green, I'm in Infantry Unit 3, and we're going to advance up the field, just what you want to see. But if I don't know, picked to play the orange side, if you look up here, I'm kind of marching down the screen, and it feels a little bit awkward and dare I say unnatural. And in 3D view it's even worse, because your units are kind of far away, because at the top end of the screen. So what I've implemented is a way of flipping the screen. So you just press this button here and it screen flips, and it's more intelligent than just a screen flip, because what it also does, just like the 3D thing, it tries to keep your view where you last looked, but also a lot of the graphics are flipped as well. So the trees are always the right way up, the contour elevation is always the right way up, and had I had elevations or other items on the map that that have a right way up or wrong way up, the code automatically does the appropriate rotations to make it appear the right way. So if I flip between the two, you can see the trees are always pointed in the right way. And note how the camera endeavours to keep the view where I last left it, even though I flipped it. So if we look close at the orange infantry units 1 and 2 and then flip it, it will try and keep them in view even though I'm flipping the map. And of course you can flip in 3D view as well, and that works great. So yeah, a number of map enhancements. They were a bit of a pain to do, but the good thing with them is they really got me into the graphics system, and that's what I'm going to need when I work on column movement. So those are the basic enhancements with the map and the unit highlighter. And of course the line of sight routines, the fact that they're now based around where you've embedded your player. Now my player is an Infantry 3, so everything I'm seeing here is from my perspective. Alright, that's that part. I'll now take you through the 3D sound system. Now when I added the sound system, I could have quite easily done the quick thing and just play, I don't know, random 2D sound clips and left it at that, but given that the whole point of Ancient Armies is to put the player in the unit that they're playing, I decided to make the sound system model 3D space, and as such you hear things from the perspective of your unit. As an example, if I were to move Cavalry 2 forward, What we'll do, just speed up time a little bit there. You should hear this in the left speaker because I'm actually sat here. Right, and if I move Cavalry 3, who's to my right, you should hear that in the right speaker. And that works fine. I don't know how well that comes across on YouTube. So what I'll do now, just to prove that this sound is all relative, is I'm going to run Cavalry 2 across my front, and you should hear it switching across the speakers. I say it's an embryonic system, so there might be bugs, but we'll see. That's a great thing with these demos. We're going to move forwards. And let's see. Let's up the time compression again to times 20, and let's play that and see what it sounds like. So that's in the left speaker. Still the left. And now I can start to hear it coming into the right. It's now fairly central. And it's now switched over. And it's now pretty much veered over to the right. So it's all probably modelled in terms of the soundscape. And I've modelled everything, Doppler shift, roll-offs, the whole works. And going back to the unit highlighter, a quick change of subject, it also highlights the unit in its current state. So if you're zoomed out quite far and you want to know the state of this unit, provided your commander is close enough to see that state, you'll see it out there. And that's one of the next things I'll be doing, is updating the unit information that you see. So it's based on where your commander is. So that proves the positional sound, and even if I don't know, turn my infantry units through 180 degrees, let's do that now, and we'll wheel him about. Always doing that. Don't use the mouse. Right, so if we do that, let's do this side. And we still got time compression, good, that's going to go. So it always looks a bit weird when you're running time compression with sound on. It feels a lot more natural at 1-to-1 time, but I don't want to bore you with 30-second tones, hence why I've got time compression on. Right, so my unit's now facing due south, so if I was to march infantry unit 4 up, I should hear that, not in the right speaker but in the left speaker, and that's because I'm facing downwards, and that unit is actually to my physical left based on my bearing. So let's hit play, we should hear it in the left. There you go. And let me finish. And if I move infantry 1, we should hear that in the right speaker. Even though he's on the left of the display, he's actually on my unit's right because of the way I'm facing. And there you go. And of course the sound system also models terrain as well. So as an example, if I wheel this unit about and get it across the stream, you should hear some sound changes as the stream thing goes. I just dropped that down to times 10. So there goes the cavalry unit. Like I say, you have to bear in mind we're doing time compression here, so things are rushing around madly. Well, I'll drop that down to times 1 time compression. Maybe I should have it later, but you should hear some watery sounds once it gets to the stream. There you go. So the system's fully aware of what's going on, and the sound is fully integrated basically, and you should hear it go back to normal sounds once it comes out of the stream. There you go. So yeah, it's a pretty advanced sound system, and of course you can send everybody packing as it were, and you'll hear the sounds from every single unit. Now the system is actually quite intelligent. It knows the maximum number of sounds that a sound card can play, and what it does is it will play the sounds that are nearer to you as the highest priority, and sounds that are further away, I forgot I'm upside down there, will not be played. So it's all based on how near things are to you. So let's get all these moving. We should hear a cacophony of sounds as everything just goes for it. And as I say, all these sounds are 3D positioned. They don't sound too great right now simply because these are placeholders. Right, let's get that going. Yeah, I didn't hit time compression, so we're going to have to wait the full 30 seconds. But yeah, there's sounds everywhere. And like I said, each and every sound is fully modelled in 3D and positioned in exactly the right place based on where your unit is and based on its facing. So yeah, very advanced sound system. And of course this sound system is fully integrated with Kronos, so we can pull up the replay and watch things go. The Euterpe just picked a different tune. Of course we can hit play and watch everything go. So yeah, it all works really darn well. That's it. I say it's the first time I've been in the code for 2 years, but over the last 2 weeks I've managed to do a fair bit. We now have a sound system which we're always going to need. The map now flips to 3D and it's stabilised now on whatever you're last looking at, so when you're flipping it you never lose it, unlike before. And you can switch the map and completely flip it so that you can see it from the other side, and if you're playing the opposing forces you'll probably want to see it from that direction as well. So that's it for those enhancements. There's a few, in terms of what I'm doing next, I want to look at the information that's displayed and the way you issue your commands based on where you are. I expect those to be fairly trivial changes, and then once they're done I'll get my teeth back into the column movement. Anyway, that's it from me. Any questions, pop them on the blog and I'll try and answer them for you. And thanks for watching, and goodbye. Thank you.